against
Gritty not
divisional
pretty,
rivals.
man. Gritty not pretty.
Yeah.
I mean, that's why I felt like just keep throwing punches. You know, they're going to throw theirs back, but, you know, you got to fight all the way through the game. And I loved it. It felt like good football to me.
It was definitely good football. That means today, Victory Monday. Welcome into another episode of Teal, the show. The Jaguars came out with a big win against the Houston Texans. A game that, in the past, we might be talking about a loss. But this Jaguars team, this one, came out with a dub. We got Kyle hanging out with me tonight. Kyle, look, this was a big-time win. The Jaguars now 2-0 at the bank.
Hey, the Tealgate's 2-0 too, but also, yeah, big win. Like you said, normally a game that they might implode, they might lose. It was a good game, and good to see the team come together there and find a way to get the W.
Yeah, look, it wasn't perfect. Lot to still improve on, but it's a whole lot easier to learn from that winning tape. We'll talk about some of the good stuff, some of the bad stuff, but overall, the theme of this game, I think, was the bounce back. You bounce back from a loss against Cincinnati. You bounce back from not finishing the game in week 2. You finish the game in week 3 for a guy like Brian Thomas Jr., who we'll talk about a little bit later in the show. He bounces back from dropping some passes to making a critical play late in the game for a guy like Tyson Campbell. He bounces back from blowing a coverage that let Nico Collins in for an easy touchdown to forcing a fumble at a crucial time. The theme, bounce back. Jaguars bounce back with a big dub.
To not play your best, specifically on one side of the ball, and still come away with a win, that is important. Like, that's not results over process. These results do matter, as we all know. And to see our guys stay connected throughout the end of that game, the defense could have easily been pointing fingers at the offense. There was not a peep. There was just, let's go back to work. Let's get out there and go and execute, and we got to go make a play. To go and win a division game like that, physical, tough finish, comes down to the wire. That is really big for us to be able to move forward and have belief that we can go and win tight games, because obviously it wasn't the case last week. And in a game, you probably felt like you played better in a lot of ways, specifically on offense. Defense had our back and really made plays when we needed to at the end on offense. So very, very pleased with their ability to stay connected and to finish a tough game the right way.
What a difference a week can make, right?
It makes a whole lot of difference. I mean, that's the difference between them losing or winning the game. And they came out on top. We got the report card this week. We're going to do it a little different. This time I'm going to give you individual players. It was a big team win. I know some people watching it might have thought the team didn't play as well, but there were some guys who were balling yesterday.
Yeah, look, I think some guys definitely stood out. All right, who you got? Who you want to do first?
Let's just go ahead. We'll probably do, let's go quarterback Trevor Lawrence.
That was a rough day for Trevor. Where are my grades at here? Okay, so that's, I mean, being nice, I'll give him maybe a D. Like, I don't think it was a good day. I don't think it was a bad day. I don't think his day was made any easier by receivers dropping passes. Tough for a quarterback to have a good day with that many drop passes. He also had a really bad interception, throw it right into double coverage. A couple of misses on his part. Ball placement was a little bit of an issue. Like, not huge red flag. Liam Cohen talking today said that Trevor Lawrence is getting the team into the right plays. Said less than 5% of the time he feels like Trevor Lawrence is wrong at the line of scrimmage. So that's really good if Trevor Lawrence is getting them into the right looks for the offense a lot of times. So he also said that the offense in Tampa Bay didn't click until after week 4. So we're only 3 weeks in. So we'll see. The Jaguars' running game's already ahead of the pace of what they had in Tampa. Can Trevor still catch up? So not a red flag for me, but I do think it was a rough day for Trevor. So give me a D.
So
D+.
we're kind of right on schedule. Then I can agree with a D. Let's go at Travis Hunter next.
You know, I've seen some of the outrage from folks online. Where are my grades? I got a B. My B is way back here, but I got a B. Somewhere between a B- and a C+ for Travis Hunter. I think it was a good day. Made the one explosive on offense. I know people want to see the flashy plays from him. But at corner, he's really good. I mean, and you got to realize with cornerbacks, the less you say their names, probably the better they are. And Travis Hunter is really good at corner. They left this guy on an island with Nico Collins a lot. It was 12 on 12. And he did some good things in coverage out there. So I know the fantasy football players out there, I'm one of them. I didn't draft Travis Hunter, though, but I know a lot of people did. And you're freaking out. But, I mean, C+, B-, Could it be a little flashier, a better stat line? Sure. But cornerbacks, unless they get the picks, people are like, well, what did he do, you know?
He is playing well on defense. I did like that. He did have somewhat of a splash play, the little 20-yard reception, did a nice little spin move. That was fun to see. But yeah. I have him in fantasy. He hasn't been doing that great for him, but I'm also not that worried about it. So let's go. How about this guy right here, Brenton Strange? Brenton
Strange, A+. A+. Brenton Strange is the Jaguars' best offensive player right now. And I don't think it's close. It ain't close. At the very least, he is a dominant run blocker. He's been their most consistent receiver. I mean, I think I said going into the year that I didn't think he'd be a 1,000-yard receiver. At this point, he might be on pace for it. Like, A+. It's been A+ every week for this dude. He's good. He's just good. I got nothing else. He's just good.
Hey, I agree. When the offense needed to play, when they were struggling, they threw it to him. He caught it. They converted the first down. Like that, he was the one consistent throughout all 4 quarters. So I can't disagree with that.
Sometimes things just got to get a little strange.
Yeah.
Look.
Yeah, stranger things are going on.
Stranger things. Come on.
Here we go. Jordan Lewis. How about Jordan Lewis?
A+. Jaguars' best free agent signing. He was the kind of splash guy in free agency, and he has shown up and made those splash plays. Jordan Lewis is a leader on the defense in the meeting room. He's making the interceptions out there. Remember I was talking about corners a minute ago, and unless they make the interceptions, people are like, what are they doing? He's been making those interceptions, climb the ladder for that big-time pick. Jordan Lewis is paying big-time dividends for this defense. A+, again, that's an easy one.
Yeah, I can't disagree with that one either. Wherever the ball is, he is. I know he also had that one dive-in play. If he'd have made that play, he'd have looked like the best player on the field. But it was he's been playing well. He had a great game yesterday. All right, last one here, Josh Hines-Allen.
A+. A+. I mean, look, I know when you start talking about pass rushers, the first thing you go to is, well, how many sacks did he get? Josh is impacting the game in ways that the box score isn't going to show you. There was one play against the Houston Texans where he just drives the tackle into the quarterback and forces an incomplete pass. That doesn't show up on his stat breakdown. He doesn't even get registered a quarterback hit for that. But he impacted the game. Josh Hines-Allen is doing all of those things. Would he love to see the stats pop up? Yeah. Will they eventually? I think so. But Josh Hines-Allen is impacting the game. Easy A+ for the Jags. Dude has been absolutely dominant. Love to see him start getting some sacks so that way he can be in that Defensive Player of the Year conversation. But he has been a one-man wrecking crew for the Jaguars, doing some really good football stuff. Just honestly, good football player.
Yeah, I mean, the pressure to get to Stroud on that last play, I think, kind of caused the interception there. So he's definitely impacting the game, whether it's with sacks or without him.
He has been a factor for that Jaguars defense. The combination of Josh Hines-Allen and Trayvon Walker paying dividends, and that's why the Jaguars defense is playing so well. All right, that'll do it for our report card. So we didn't talk about Brian Thomas Jr. And I promised you earlier that we'd talk a little bit more about BTJ. We'll do that right after this quick break when Teal the Show comes back.
We got each other's back, and no one's going to bully us and push us around. You know, that's a mindset for our team, and that's important.
Texans definitely did not bully the Jaguars out there on the field, and that is a physical game. These are two teams that honestly just probably don't like each other a whole lot. But big-time win in the division. You drop the Texans to 0-3, which statistically says they might be out of the playoff race unless they're the anomaly, which is always good news. So now it leads it to where it's the Jaguars and the Colts, the only two teams that aren't 0-3 in the division.
A couple big games we'll have coming up against them. But I will just say what Trevor said, it was good to hear and it was good to see, because sometimes the Jaguars do get bullied, it seems like, but they did not let it happen yesterday. Now, we did say we were going to talk about BTJ, and I do want to talk about BTJ. But also after the game, we asked a couple players what they thought about BTJ, because he had struggled a little bit. But then when it came time to make a play, he stepped up and showed out.
Yeah, just keep telling himself that he's like that. I mean, he has plays where he's shown that he's an elite receiver in the league. I don't really care what people got to say about him. It's going to be a intrinsic battle. Just keep telling yourself, yeah, I'm like that. Don't think about the catch, because I know I'm about to make it. And I know I got all the confidence in him, so I'm more than surprised by that catch and run there. He's shown all that through OTAs and preseason and stuff through the, I've seen him make that catch a whole bunch of times. I know he's going to keep making plays for us, and I got a lot of confidence, and I'm going to love to see him elevate his game going out through the year.
It was really cool to see. I feel like what's cool about our offense is, even for me, I had 2 drops today as well. It's tough, but we got to be able to have that mentality where we come back for the next play. What's the next play? You know, step up, keep doing your thing, keep having fun, and it paid off for him. He didn't get down on himself, and he came, he executed in the biggest moment of the game.
Big-time players show up in big-time moments, and BT showed up when it matters. Is there something that got to get figured out with the drop passes? Sure. This isn't the Brian Thomas that we saw last year. This wasn't the Brian Thomas that they kind of expected going into the year. But sometimes it just takes one big play to snap you out of it, right? Get you rolling a little bit.
Next play mentality. And I'm a big fan of, like, you know, storybook ending. That was a storybook ending for him because he wasn't having the best game. You know, people were booing. And then to go out and make that play, Trevor checks to it, he makes it. And then you could see the emotion from him when he slams the ball against the wall there. Like, he was fired up. The bank was fired up. It was a good ending. Hopefully, like you said, that just kind of clicks for him, and then he picks it up moving forward.
Look, he's a player they're going to need in this next game because the next game, San Francisco 49ers. The Jaguars historically have struggled in these West Coast matchups, and the 49ers are a really good team. They're coming in 3-0. And they might be getting their starting quarterback back. It looks like Brock Purdy's probably going to be ready to go on Sunday. So that means the Jaguars won't see Mac Jones, but they would see Brock Purdy. So you might see a resurgent San Francisco team. If you're going to beat them, you need all your best guys to play at their best. So that would mean you need Brian Thomas Jr. to be playing like the Brian Thomas Jr. that everybody knows, loves, and expects him to play like. And I'm sure he wants to get back to that. His teammates expect him to be like that. His coaches expect him to be like that. And surely we'll see that guy show up sooner rather than later. Maybe that wrist injury is bothering him a little bit more than we expect.
Hey, hopefully get some time, heal up, and then go out on the West Coast, ball out. That's what we all want to see.
All right, we'll see what happens. We'll talk a little bit more about that West Coast trip and maybe the historic Jaguars West Coast woes. Actually, we probably won't worry about that too much. We'll talk about what the Jaguars need to do to get a dub against the San Francisco 49ers on Friday night during the next episode of Teal the Show. Hey, thanks everybody for hanging out with us a little bit on your Monday night as we talk all about the Jaguars. Victory Monday. I want to say it one more time before we wrap things up here on Teal the Show. Good night, everybody, and go Jags.